find your passion. If you've left a difficult relationship and you're trying to figure out who you are now, you've probably heard this advice 100 times. Maybe you've even tried it. So you took the personality quiz, you tried the journaling prompts, you asked the people in your life what they think you're good at, and you got nothing or worse, answers that felt completely wrong, disconnected, like they were describing someone you don't recognize. And guess what? Nobody tells you. Most find your passion advice wasn't built for you. It was built for people who have access to themselves, people who can close their eyes and actually feel something, people who know what they like, what they don't like, and what makes them feel alive. After years of having your reality questioned, your preferences dismissed, and your identity erased, you're not starting from, I don't know what I want. You're starting from, I don't know if I exist. That's not a passion problem. That's a foundation problem. And until you understand the difference, you'll keep spinning and you'll keep feeling like something is wrong with you. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly why the standard advice fails and what to do instead when you're starting from absolute zero. Let's look at the most common find your passion advice and why it breaks down after abuse. Broken assumption number one, ask three friends what you're good at. This assumes that you still have three close friends. After isolation, after social erosion, after years of having your relationships monitored or undermined, you might not have three people who know the real you. And even if you do, they know the version of you that survived, that adapted, the version of you that performed. That's not the same as knowing who you actually are. I tried this. My name's Tanya, by the way, if you're new here, and I help survivors turn into thrivers. So I tried this. I asked people on Facebook. My mom said something about how I liked playing teacher. A friend from seventh grade told me I should write and illustrate a book. My husband, who thinks I hang the moon, gave an answer I can't even remember because it was too biased to be useful. None of it helped because the external mirrors were either gone, distorted, or reflecting someone I used to be. Broken assumption number two, what do people come to you for? After abuse, people came to you for one thing, compliance. They came to you because you would say yes, because you would help, because you would put yourself last. That's not a clue to your passion. That's a clue to your survival pattern. There is a difference. Broken assumption number three. What did you love as a child? This assumes that you can access those memories. After prolonged stress, your brain literally reorganizes. The hippocampus, where your memories are consolidated, shrinks under chronic cortisol exposure. Some survivors can't remember their childhood clearly. Others remember but feel completely disconnected from the person they were. Asking, what did 6 year old you love when you can barely remember last Tuesday isn't helpful. It's mean. Broken assumption number four, try new hobbies. This assumes you have permission to explore. After being told what to like, what to do, how to spend your time, and the idea of trying something new feels like a test you might fail. It assumes you have access to resources, time, money, emotional bandwidth. It assumes you won't judge yourself harshly if you don't immediately love it. It also assumes you know the difference between I don't like this and I'm scared to like this. You might not have any of those things yet. And that is not a personal failure. That's a predictable consequence of what you've been through. If you've been blaming yourself for failing at advice that was never designed for you, I created a free guide that addresses this. 5 steps to reclaim your identity after abuse. It's actually built for starting from zero. The link is in the description. Here is what I wish someone had told me. You can't find yourself when there's no self to find yet. Yet. I don't mean that you don't exist. I mean the pathways to your preferences, to your desires, and your sense of self, those got disrupted. They're disconnected or silenced. You have to rebuild the instrument before you can hear what it's playing. This isn't about passion hunting. You need to rebuild your foundation. And when I say foundation, I don't mean positive affirmations or vision boards. I mean your body. Can you feel your physical sensations? Can you tell when you're tired, hungry, tense, at ease? Your mind. Can you separate your thoughts from his voice? Can you hold your own opinion without immediately second guessing it? In your heart. Can you feel your feelings without immediately numbing, fixing, or judging them? If the answer is not really to any of those, that is where you start. Not with passion, with foundation. When I was at my most lost, I didn't start with soul searching. Well, that's not true. I did start with soul searching. It didn't work. So I started with the basics, small things, things that were easy to do, but also easy not to do. For example, I started exercising because I needed to feel my body again. I started journaling just to be able to listen to my own voice for once. I started eating better because I realized that I was eating mostly chips and pretzels, and that couldn't possibly be making me feel good. I started meditating because I heard that it would be helpful to just sit and practice being with myself. I started reading self development because I wanted to know how to attune to my own self better. None of these things told me what my passion was, but they rebuilt my capacity to eventually hear it internally. It took years, not weeks, not months, years. And I'm still discovering things about myself, but I couldn't have skipped this part. Nobody can. Look, while I was doing those small practices, something else was happening underneath. I was relearning 3 things I'd completely lost. The first one is permission to play. I had to learn it was safe to play again, to do things for no reason, to be silly, to try something with no goal, no outcome, no productivity attached. I know this sounds small, but it wasn't. After years of walking on eggshells, of everything having consequences, of needing to justify every choice, play felt dangerous. I had to relearn it was safe to be messy. I had to learn it was safe to fail, to be bad at something, to screw up on the first try or the 10th try, and not make that mean something terrible about me. Perfectionism isn't just high standards, it's also about surviving. And when failure gets punished, you stop risking. And I had to relearn the difference between I don't like it and I'm scared. And this might be the most important one. I had to learn the difference between genuinely disliking something and quitting because it felt scary. Sometimes I don't want to do that really means I don't have permission to want that, or I'm afraid to fail, or this feels too good to trust. That knowing took time, and it still does. So, look, if the standard advice isn't working for you, What do you actually do? Here are a few starting points that don't require anyone else. No friends to survey, no childhood memories to excavate, just starting now. Pick one small practice. One, not five, one. Okay. 10 minutes of movement, walking, stretching, anything that connects you to your body. This doesn't have to be a big deal. Just 10 minutes of intentional movement. Or 5 minutes of journaling, brain dump, no filter. Or 5 minutes of sitting in silence, not meditating perfectly, just quietly, silently being with yourself. And let me be very specific about journaling because I think a lot of people get stuck here. When I say brain dump, no filter, I mean that literally. The standard journaling advice assumes you know what to write about, that you have profound thoughts ready to capture, that it needs to look a certain way. The reality, when you're starting from zero, is that your mind is either blank or all over the place. You feel like you have nothing to say. You judge every thought as stupid before you write it down. So I'm giving you a permission slip I wish somebody would have given me. You always have thoughts. Just write whatever comes up. It's not dumb. No one has to read it. That's the actual instruction. Not journal about your feelings. Just write what's in there. I don't know what to write. Write that. This is stupid. Write that. I'm hungry. Write that. Why did I say that thing in 2003? Write that. I hate this. Write that too. All of it counts. The point isn't insight here. The point is just to hear your own voice on the page. Maybe for the first time in years. Do your one practice for 30 days, not to transform yourself, just start building a relationship with yourself. Once a week, try something small with zero pressure. Again, not find your passion, just data collection. Go to a bookstore and notice which section pulls you. Watch a documentary on a random topic. Try a new food. You aren't looking for passion. You're collecting data. Huh, that was interesting. That did nothing for me. Both are equally useful information. Or every day, ask yourself, what do I want right now? Not what should you want, not what's easiest, not what causes the least conflict. What do you want? At first, you're not going to know, and that's okay. The question itself starts rebuilding the pathway. I want to be honest with you about how this works. It's not fast. You don't do foundation work for a month and suddenly discover your life purpose. This took me years, and I'm still not 100% certain about everything. I don't think I ever will be, but I keep getting closer, and I can feel myself in a way that I couldn't before. What I've learned is that preferences emerge from the foundation work. You don't go hunting for them. They start to surface as you rebuild your connection to yourself. You notice you feel better after certain activities. You notice you actually look forward to some things, and you notice resistance to others. Real resistance, not fear. The preferences are always there. You just need a functioning instrument to hear them. Look, I was so angry for so long. I tried the advice. I tried asking people. I tried the exercises and the journals and the workshops, and I just felt more broken because none of it worked. What finally worked was giving up on finding myself and starting to rebuild myself, body, mind, and heart. The boring daily stuff, the permission work, learning to turn inward because there was finally something there to hear. This is available to you too. not through a passion quiz, through rebuilding one small practice at a time. So let's recap. Most find your passion advice wasn't built for survivors. It assumes access to yourself that trauma disrupts. The real starting point isn't passion hunting, it's foundation building. You have to rebuild the instrument before you can hear what it's playing. Start with one small daily practice, one tiny experiment per week, and one question every day. If this resonates with you, I created something to help you take the next step. My free guide, 5 Steps to Reclaim Your Identity After Abuse, walks you through the actual process of reconnecting with who you are. It's not inspirational garbage. This is practical steps that work when you're starting from zero. The link is in the description. Before you go, please take a breath with me. We're going to do in through your nose for 3, hold for 3, and out through your mouth for 6. One small breath can shift everything. Remember, if you've been frustrated that the standard advice doesn't work, nothing is wrong with you. The advice was incomplete. It wasn't designed for what you've been through. You are not broken. You are rebuilding, and that takes different tools. Subscribe if you want more content like this. I post weekly for women who are moving from surviving to thriving. I'll see you in the next video.